talk about tax diversification, and you'll be like, I've heard of portfolio diversification, but what is this tax diversification all about? Do you mean diversify taxes? Really? Well, stay tuned to know more about it. Hello and welcome. Thanks for tuning into our channel. I'm Jyoti Arora, a tax expert at Clear. Clear is India's largest tax and financial services platform where we have served more than 6 million plus return filers, and we continue to serve more and more. Do subscribe to our channel if you have not already to support us in this journey. Now let's start. Basically, tax diversification is a strategy to pay least taxes on your returns from investment over its tenure after you retire or stop working, or just when you want to be financially independent. Now, the millennial generation is investment driven. They understand the importance of investing, and many of them dream to retire early. The concept to retire at 60 is now age old. Many of them want to become financially independent and eventually step away from the soul-crunching job. Or some want to pursue their passion like traveling the world or take a job that they always wanted to take, and so on. Whatsoever your financial goal is, tax diversification strategy can help your investment last longer, as you will pay fewer taxes on the income earned on these investments. Tax diversification can be attained by investing into different types of investment accounts. Every account falls into two buckets: tax now and tax free. Now, spreading your money into each of these buckets allow you to manage your tax bracket better and provides easy liquidity for your investments. Let's learn about these tax buckets in detail. Now, the most common example of tax now investment is capital gains income, interest income, and dividend income, which is taxed annually. Now, one upside of the capital gain tax rate is that they are more favorable than ordinary income tax rates. For instance, long-term capital gain for equity and related investments is tax-free up to rupees 1 lakh. That is 1 lakh of annual income, and they are taxed at lower rate of 10% if the income exceeds the threshold of rupees 1 lakh. Whereas the short-term capital gain on equity is taxable at 15% only. Now, these capital gain tax rates are different for different categories of assets, but the capital gain taxes on equity is lower compared to taxes on the regular income. Now, apart from the immediate tax implication, one of the benefits of these tax now income is that they are liquid in nature. That is, one can access these funds at any point of time. So when you invest, your money goes through 3 stages. First is stage 1, that is contribution stage, when you contribute to an investment option. Stage 2 is accumulation stage, when the money earns interest or returns. And stage 3, that is withdrawal stage, that is when you withdraw the lump sum, which is the sum of your principal and interest or return. Now, in India, we have investment options that have different tax implications at each of these stages. Accordingly, we will classify the tax-free investments into 3 categories. That is category 1, triple E, category 2, EET, and category 3, ETE. Let us see them in detail. Now, EEE stands for exempt, exempt, exempt for all the 3 stages that we just discussed. The first exempt means that your initial investment is allowed for deduction, so you don't have to pay tax on the part of the salary that equals the amount invested. The second exempt is when you don't have to pay any tax on the returns earned during the accumulation phase. And the third and the final exempt means that the withdrawal amount of the investment is also tax-free in the hands of the investor. Now, investing in PPF, EPF or VPF, that is Public Provident Fund, Employee Provident Fund or Voluntary Provident Fund, is a form of tax-free investment which enjoys triple E benefit. Their initial investment, interest earned from these investments, as well as the withdrawal of these investments, all of the 3 stages are tax exempt. Life insurance policy also enjoys the triple E status. Now, EET is exempt, and taxable. Under this category, your money at the stage of contribution and accumulation is exempt from tax, which is explained by first to EE, but at the time of withdrawal, you need to pay tax, which is denoted by T. Since your accumulation, which is principal plus return, is taxed at the time of withdrawal, your returns from such instruments come down at the time of withdrawal. One example of this is National Pension Scheme or any other pension schemes. The amount invested under NPS earns a deduction under Section 80CCC and Section 80CCD. There is no tax when the funds invested under NPS grow, but the annuities received, that is the pension received under any annuity plan, is taxable. Now, ETE stands for exempt, taxable and exempt. These investments are taxed at the accumulation phase, but the initial investment and the withdrawals are not taxed. For example, National Savings Certificate and 5-year fixed deposit enjoys the ETE status, where the amount you invest qualifies for deduction under Section 80C, whereas the interest is taxed and the amount at the time of maturity is again not taxable. Hope you are understanding and learning all that we have discussed now. If yes, then please type clear in the comment section below. So now, when you understand what is tax diversification, next question is how to achieve this tax diversification. Now, achieving tax diversification is simple, but it is not easy. This means you will have to put some effort into creating a financial plan for your entire working life, considering this aspect of tax diversification. Let's see how. So instead of just investing in various investment options, it is necessary to consider the taxation aspect of each of these investment tools. Let us explain to you using an illustrative example. Say for example, you are 30 and you plan to work till 50 years and then you want to financially retire at 50. This means by the age of 50, you would want to create an investment portfolio that will generate returns sufficient to maintain the lifestyle for the rest of your life, say for next 30 or 40 years. So here, your financial goal is to become financially independent when you reach 50 years of age. Now the next question is, how much return would you want every month to realize this goal? Let's assume that you need rupees 1 lakh a month as earnings from your investment after 20 years. Seems less? So this is just an assumption and you can alter the figures according to your assumptions, right? A financial plan for such a long tenure will have to be made on assumptions only. So suppose you need rupees 1 lakh a month, which means you need rupees 12 lakh as annual return from your investments. Now, assuming 8% average return for all these 20 years, again this is just an assumption, we will need an amount equal to rupees 12 lakh divided by 8%, which comes to around rupees 1.5 crore approximately at the end of the 20th year. Now, first we will see how much amount you need to invest every month to achieve this goal of the investment corpus of rupees 1.5 crore. We will use Clear's SIP calculator to understand this. What you can do is you can type SIP calculator Clear Tax on Google and open the first link. Okay, we will also link the calculator in the description box below. Now, when you click on the link, you will find SIP calculator by Clear. Here you have to enter the amount and select the number of years and expected return, and it will give you the total wealth you will have. So here we'll add random amounts to see how much wealth we will earn after the number of years, that is 20 years that we are expecting. So let's add 10,000. The number of years we want to invest is 20 years. And the expected rate of return is around 8%. So here you can see that after you invest 10,000 every month for 20 years at the rate of 8%, the total wealth that you will have is only 59 lakhs. However, we are looking to have an amount around 1.5 crore year. So we'll straight away double this amount, but still the total corpus is less than 1.5 crores. So we'll add some more value here, say for example 6,000. Yes, now the total corpus is what we are looking to have, that is around 1.5 crores. So we will have to invest 26,000 for 20 years at the rate of 8% to get a total corpus of 1.5 crores. Now, considering the taxation aspect, the taxation in terms of SIP is quite different, because you will have to calculate the capital gain on each SIP. But to make it simple for this calculation, what we are doing is we are considering the total wealth as the sale consideration or the redemption that we'll make, and invest all these amount in a safer fixed income securities. So this is what could be our sale consideration, and this could be our invested amount. So in this case, our capital gain works out to rupees 91 lakhs, that is 1 crore 54 lakhs minus 62.40, that is principal invested. So if we consider the capital gain tax rate at 10%, which is currently applicable, then tax of around 9 lakhs will be applicable on these gains, which is too high. Now, if you make a plan for tax diversification, you will consider options of investing that are tax efficient. As we just saw that we need to invest rupees 26,000 every month to achieve our financial goal of financial independence at the age of 50, we will bifurcate this 26,000 and invest in tax efficient options for optimum tax diversification. For instance, investing in VPF or PPF account offers EEE benefits just that we saw, as that the interest, the investment as well as the withdrawal amount is all tax free. However, in Budget 2021, the government has applied a threshold of rupees 2.5 lakh for EPF and VPF exemptions. This means that the investment in these accounts above rupees 20,833 a month will be transferred to a taxable account. Anyway, here we will add the maximum investment amount in PPF or in EPF of rupees 12,500 every month, so that you can claim 1.5 lakh under ATC. Let us see this also using the SIP calculator. Now, let us consider that we are going to invest 12,500 in EPF account for next 20 years, and we are expecting a rate of interest at 8%. Currently, the rate of interest provided by PPF is reduced due to COVID. However, we are assuming it to be 8%. Then the total wealth created solely by PPF investment would be 74 lakhs at the end of 20 years, and the invested amount would be 30 lakhs. Now, next we will invest a portion in National Pension Scheme. Now, NPS investment has an additional tax deduction benefit of rupees 50,000 under Section 80 CCD 1B, which is over and above 1.5 lakh of deduction in ATC. So we will invest rupees 4,000 every month to exhaust this limit and claim the benefit of additional deduction. Next, we are investing 4,000 in NPS. So we'll add 4,000 here, tenure is 20 years. Whereas expected return we are taking as 9%, a bit higher, as NPS are market linked. So if you invest 4,000 every month in NPS, then your estimated total corpus solely through NPS would be around 26 lakhs, whereas the principal amount invested over these years would be 9,60,000 only. Now, out of this maturity amount of an NPS, 60% received in lump sum is tax free, whereas 40% is utilized to buy annuity. Now, the 40% corpus which is received and which is to be utilized mandatorily for annuity can be staggered in a way to keep the income below the basic exemption limit over the period of years. Now, after considering the total monthly investment of rupees 16,500, that is 12,500 in PPF and 4,000 in NPS, balance of rupees 9,500 can be invested in your regular SIPs or any other mode of investments in the tax now category. So, if you consider a comparison between the two types of investments, that is one where you do not do any tax diversification and one with tax diversification, you gain a tax benefit of around 5,27,000. Let's see how. Your total investment under regular SIP without tax diversification is 26,000, whereas with tax diversification you have bifurcated into 3 investment options. Now the principal amount invested under these would more or less remain same, whereas also the maturity amount would be around same, but the tax outflow has a major difference. Here you can see a tax outflow is 9.17 lakhs, whereas because you have tax diversified into PPF and NPS, majorly your tax implication under regular SIP is only 3.9 lakh. So you have to pay less tax by 5.27 lakhs if you diversify your investment into these tax efficient options. So as you saw that by proper planning for tax diversification, you can save taxes on the investment made during your work life. If this is not done, then taxes can eat up your investment corpus. Now you will say, how would you predict what will be tax implication over all these years? Yes, we agree that none of us can be sure about the market volatility, inflation, taxes, interest rates, etc. Many external factors affect them, but when planning for retirement, you will have to consider these aspects according to the current situation and leave room for certain variations, meaning you can invest rupees 30,000 instead of 26,000 whenever possible, so that these variations can be settled in the event of extreme situations. If you're not making a plan for and not considering tax diversification, then surely you are going to pay more taxes, right? That's all for today's video, folks. Hope this video was helpful to you. If you have any questions, then please ask us in the comment section below. We are always #here to help. Do like, share and subscribe to our channel for more such informative videos. Stay tuned for more such updates. Take care and goodbye.